Good morning, everyone. Today, we embark on an exciting journey into the world of language and cognition through the lens of relational frame theory, or RFT. This theory offers a comprehensive understanding of how we, as humans, learn to relate to the world around us in complex and meaningful ways. So, let's dive into the essence of RFT and unlock the secrets behind how we think, learn, and communicate. Relational frame theory is a theory of language and cognition that suggests our ability to understand and use language comes from learning to relate things to one another in specific ways. It's about understanding relationships between objects, ideas, or experiences, not because they are directly related in the real world, but because we learn to see them as related. This ability to make connections is what allows us to use language meaningfully and to think abstractly. Let's look with some examples. Example 1: Same versus different. Imagine you have two apples. Even if they're not exactly identical, you learn to understand they are the same in the sense that they're both apples. If you have an apple and a banana, you learn these are different because one is an apple and the other is a banana. This understanding isn't about physical similarity, it's about categorizing objects based on learned relationships. RFT concept categorization based on the relational frame of sameness and difference. Example 2: Bigger and smaller. Think about when someone shows you two boxes, and they tell you that box A is bigger than box B. Later, if you're shown box A and a new box C that's even bigger than box A, you can understand that box C is bigger than both A and B, and box A is smaller than box C but bigger than box B. You didn't need to see box B and box C together to figure out their relationship. You understood this through the relationship of bigger and smaller that you've learned. RFT concept. This illustrates the relational frame of comparison. You're applying learned concepts of size to understand new relationships without direct comparison. Example 3: More than and less than. Let's say you're saving money, and you learn that saving 10 coins a day leads to more savings than saving 5 coins a day. Later, someone tells you that saving 15 coins a day leads to more savings than 10 coins a day. Even without seeing the actual amount of savings, you understand that saving 15 coins is the most effective, and saving 5 coins is the least effective among the options given. You've related the amounts based on more than and less than, even though you haven't seen all the comparisons directly. RFT concept. Understanding the relational frame of quantitative comparison. You're using what you know about numbers and their value to infer which actions lead to greater or lesser outcomes. Example 4: Learning prepositions. Timmy's mom teaches him that his toy car is under the table. Later, when Timmy sees his ball under his chair, he identifies the ball's position as under without being taught this specific example. RFT concept. This scenario illustrates the concept of learning spatial relations. Timmy applies the learned relation of under to new objects and settings, showing an understanding of spatial prepositions through generalization. Example 5: Understanding opposites. Sarah learns that hot is the opposite of cold when she drinks hot cocoa on a cold day. The next summer day, when she feels the warmth of the sun, she comments that it's hot, implying it's not cold, even though the context is completely different. RFT concept. Sarah is demonstrating the relational frame of opposites. She understands and applies the concept of hot being the opposite of cold across different contexts, weather, drinks, showing her ability to generalize relational understanding. Example 6: Grasping time concepts. After learning that breakfast comes before school and dinner comes after school, Jake starts to organize other parts of his day. Using before and after, such as putting on shoes, before going outside and taking a bath, after playing. RFT concept. Jake's understanding of sequential order demonstrates his grasp of temporal relations. He applies before and after to new activities, indicating an understanding of time-based sequencing learned from daily routines. Example 7. Identifying emotions. Emily feels happy when she gets ice cream and learns to label this feeling as happy. Later, when she receives a surprise gift and feels a similar emotion, she identifies this feeling as happy too, even though the situation is different. RFT concept. This shows Emily applying the relational frame of emotional identification. By associating the feeling she gets from positive experiences with the term happy, she can identify the same emotion in varied contexts, demonstrating the application of abstract relational thinking to emotions. Example 5. Learning through comparison. Leo has a big dog named Max and a small dog named Buddy. His parents explain that Max is bigger than Buddy. When Leo visits his friend who has a cat smaller than Buddy, he remarks that Buddy is bigger than the cat, using the comparison he learned from Max and Buddy. RFT concept. Leo is using the relational frame of comparison to understand size differences. He applies the concept of bigger and smaller, learned from comparing his dogs to a new situation. With the cat, showing how comparative relations are used to navigate new information. These examples demonstrate how RFT explains our ability to understand complex ideas, make inferences, and use language effectively, all based on learned relationships between things. It's not just about the physical world around us, but about how we relate to different elements of our environment mentally. RFT shows that our cognitive and language abilities are based on these relational frames, the fundamental building blocks of thought and language that allow us to navigate the world in sophisticated ways. There is similarities between mutual entailment and relational frame theory, because mutual entailment is actually a component of RFT. To clarify, RFT is a broader theory that encompasses various types of relational framing, including but not limited to mutual entailment, along with symmetry and transitivity. Mutual entailment is a specific type of relational framing that occurs within the context of RFT. Let's break down the difference and then provide 5 easy, scenario-based examples to illustrate mutual entailment specifically. RFT includes mutual entailment along with other relational processes like symmetry, transitivity, comparison, perspective taking, and more. Mutual entailment specific process. Mutual entailment is a foundational process within RFT that describes how learning one relationship automatically entails understanding the reverse relationship, even if it's not directly taught. Example: if a child learns that a nickel is worth more than a penny, they inherently understand that a penny is worth less than a nickel without being explicitly taught this reverse relationship. Examples of mutual entailment. 1. Colors and preference. If Sarah learns she likes red more than blue, she automatically understands that she likes blue less than red. 2. Pet ownership. A child learns that Rover is the name of their dog, not the cat. Without extra teaching, the child understands that if you're calling for Rover, you're not calling for the cat. 3. Toy blocks. Tim is told that the square block fits into the square hole, not the round hole. Tim then understands that the square block does not fit into the round hole, even though the focus was on where it does fit. 4. Siblings. Emily learns that Jacob is her brother. She inherently understands that she, in turn, is Jacob's sister, showcasing an automatic understanding of the reciprocal sibling relationship. 5. Classroom seats. When Alex is told that he sits next to Ben in class, Alex grasps that Ben also sits next to him, illustrating mutual entailment in understanding spatial relationships. Key distinction. While mutual entailment focuses on understanding reciprocal relationships, RFT is the overarching theory that explains how we learn and apply this ability, among others, to understand and navigate the world through language and cognition. Mutual entailment is a piece of the puzzle within RFT, specifically addressing how we can infer one relationship from the inverse, as part of the broader human capacity for relational thinking. Let's practice some mock exams. Mock Exam 1. Which scenario best illustrates the broad concept of relational frame theory in action? 1. Timmy learns that if a square is a rectangle, then a rectangle can also be understood as a square due to their shared properties. 2. Sarah understands that dog and parrot both refer to the same animal despite being taught in different languages. 3. Alex feels sad in rainy weather because he associates rain with bad moods based on past experiences. 4. Lily knows that the kitchen is next to the living room, helping her navigate her house. Correct answer is 2. Sarah understands that dog and parrot both refer to the same animal, despite being taught in different languages. RFT focuses on understanding how language and cognition are based on learning to relate things in specific ways. Sarah's ability to relate dog and parrot as referring to the same concept across languages exemplifies RFT's core principle. Option 1 is more related to symmetry, considering the shared properties and understanding the bidirectional relationship between geometric shapes. Option 3 represents a causal relationship, associating weather with mood based on past experiences. Option 4 showcases a spatial relationship, understanding the arrangement of physical spaces relative to each other. Mock Exam 2. Which scenario best demonstrates mutual entailment? 1. James learns that ice is cold and concludes that anything cold might be ice. 2. Maria knows that her toy is either in the living room or her bedroom, indicating spatial understanding. 3. When Julie is told that bigger means more than, she deduces that smaller means less than. 4. Kevin understands that he needs to wear a coat before going outside in the winter to stay warm. Correct answer is 3. When Julie is told that bigger means more than, she deduces that smaller means less than. Mutual entailment involves understanding the reciprocal nature of relationships. Julie's deduction about bigger and smaller shows her grasp of mutual entailment, where learning one relationship informs the understanding of its counterpart. Option 1 leans towards a causal relationship or perhaps stimulus generalization, mistakenly inferring properties of items based on a single characteristic. Option 2 clearly indicates a spatial relationship, understanding locations. Option 4 is a causal relationship, linking wearing a coat with staying warm. Mock Exam 3. Which scenario illustrates a distinction relationship? 1. After learning that cats are not dogs, Jenny knows that seeing an animal with whiskers and a tail doesn't necessarily mean it's a dog. 2. Bob learns to open doors using different keys, showing flexibility in behavior. 3. Carla understands that her friend being happy today doesn't mean they're always happy, showing temporal distinction. 4. Dirk knows that because he's taller than Eric, Eric must be shorter than him. Correct answer is 1. After learning that cats are not dogs, Jenny knows that seeing an animal with whiskers and a tail doesn't necessarily mean it's a dog. A distinction relationship involves recognizing differences between stimuli. Jenny's realization about cats and dogs exemplifies understanding that two similar-looking animals can be fundamentally different, highlighting the concept of distinction. Option 2 suggests response generalization, showing the application of a learned skill, opening doors with various tools keys. Option 3 touches on temporal relationship, indicating a change over time in emotions. Option 4 is closer to mutual entailment or symmetry, recognizing reciprocal roles based on height. Mock Exam 4. Which example showcases a spatial relationship understanding? 1. Karen knows that her glasses are either on the bedside table or in the bathroom. 2. Lucas realizes that if he's older than his sister is younger than him. 3. Mia learns that boiling water causes steam, understanding a cause-effect relationship. 4. Nick draws a circle inside a square and understands their spatial arrangement. Correct answer is 1. Karen knows that her glasses are either on the bedside table or in the bathroom. All right. Spatial relationship refers to understanding how objects or locations relate to each other in space. Karen's awareness of where her glasses might be based on their possible locations demonstrates an understanding of spatial relationships. Option 2 is an example of symmetry or mutual entailment, understanding age relationships. Option 3 illustrates a causal relationship, connecting the boiling of water with the production of steam. Option 4 might be seen as an attempt at a spatial relationship, but it directly involves symmetry within spatial concepts rather than navigating or relating different spaces. Mock Exam 5. Which scenario best demonstrates an understanding of temporal relationships? 1. After planting seeds, Oliver checks daily for sprouts, knowing growth takes time. 2. Patty learns that amigo and friend mean the same, showing language relation. 3. Quentin finds that if he studies, he performs better on tests, indicating a causal relationship. 4. Rachel realizes that if a rectangle can be a square, then a square can also be a rectangle due to their properties. Correct answer is 1. After planting seeds, Oliver checks daily for sprouts, knowing growth takes time. Temporal relationships involve understanding the sequence or timing of events. Oliver's expectation of growth over time after planting seeds highlights his grasp of temporal relationships, recognizing that some processes are sequential. Option 2 is about mutual entailment in language learning. Option 3 shows a causal relationship, linking studying with test performance. Option 4 is more related to symmetry and transitivity, understanding properties and their implications. Mock Exam 6. Which example best illustrates a causal relationship? 1. Sam learns that pressing a button turns on the light, understanding cause and effect. 2. Tim recognizes that a blue object and a blue label refer to the same color. 3. Uma knows that her book can be either on the desk or the shelf, indicating spatial awareness. 4. Vince understands that being the youngest means others in his family are older. Correct answer is 1. Sam learns that pressing a button turns on the light, understanding cause and effect. Let's see. Causal relationships involve understanding that one event directly leads to another. Sam's realization that pressing a button causes the light to turn on exemplifies understanding a cause. Pressing the button and its effect, the light turning on. Option 2 demonstrates symmetry, connecting a color with its label. Option 3 is a spatial relationship, knowing potential locations of an object. Option 4 leans towards temporal relationship, or understanding family roles, which is not directly relevant to causal reasoning. Mock Exam 7. In which scenario is reflexivity demonstrated? 1. Wendy can identify her reflection in the mirror as herself, understanding self-identity. 2. Sander knows that if he's taller than Yara, then Yara is shorter than him. 3. Yolanda realizes that joy and felicidad both mean happiness in different languages. 4. Zach learns that watering plants helps them grow, seeing the effect of his actions. Correct answer is 1. Wendy can identify her reflection in the mirror as herself, understanding self-identity. Reflexivity involves recognizing something as the same as itself. Wendy's ability to identify her reflection as herself showcases reflexivity, as she understands the mirror image represents her own identity. Option 2 involves mutual entailment or symmetry, understanding reciprocal social roles. Option 3 is about language learning, which could fit into mutual entailment or even broader RFT concepts. Option 4 touches on causal relationship, seeing the consequences of actions. Mock Exam 8. Which example shows symmetry in relational understanding? 1. Alex learns the concept of hot from touching a warm cup and later identifies a sunny spot as hot. 2. Ben understands that if he is a brother to Claire, then Claire is a sister to him. 3. Kara notices that adding salt makes food salty, learning about direct consequences. 4. Dan knows the route to school involves passing by the park, understanding spatial navigation. Correct answer is 2. Ben understands that if he is a brother to Claire, then Claire is a sister to him. Symmetry involves recognizing that relationships work both ways. Ben's realization about the sibling relationship being bidirectional brother to sister and sister to brother is a clear demonstration of symmetry. Option 1 could be considered under stimulus generalization, learning about temperature sensations. Option 3 represents a causal relationship, linking actions and outcomes. Option 4 involves spatial relationship, understanding physical navigation. Mock Exam 9. Which scenario best illustrates transitivity? 1. Ellie knows that freezing temperatures turn water into ice and that ice melts back into water. 2. Frank understands that if a triangle has 3 sides and shapes with 3 sides are called triangles, then a specific shape with 3 sides is a triangle. 3. Grace learns that bread is called pan in Spanish and pain in French, connecting the 2 foreign words through their shared meaning. 4. Hank finds out that running fast leads to winning races, and winning races makes him happy. Correct answer is 3. Grace learns that bread is called pan in Spanish and pain in French, connecting the 2 foreign words through their shared meaning. All right, transitivity involves deducing a new relationship based on known relationships. Grace's connection between pan and pain, through their common meaning with bread, exemplifies transitivity, as she understands the equivalence of these words across languages, without being directly taught their relationship to each other. Mock Exam 10. Which scenario best demonstrates the concept of derived stimulus relations? 1. Ivan learns to categorize fruits by sweetness and later sorts candies by the same criterion without being taught. 2. Jenny understands that libro means book in Spanish, and when she hears librería, she guesses it's related to books bookstore without being taught. 3. Kyle knows that getting good grades leads to rewards, applying this understanding across different subjects. 4. Leah recognizes that the smell of rain is similar to the smell of wet soil, associating them together. Correct answer is 2. Jenny understands that libro means book in Spanish, and when she hears librería, she guesses it's related to bookstore without being taught. Derived stimulus relations involve forming new understandings or connections between stimuli based on their relational properties, not direct training. Jenny's ability to guess the meaning of librería based on her knowledge of libro showcases derived stimulus relations as she infers the relationship between the words based on their linguistic roots. Option 1 leans towards stimulus generalization, applying a criterion across different categories. Option 3 is a causal relationship, relating behavior to outcomes. Option 4 might suggest stimulus generalization, associating similar smells. Okay, that's all today. Hope you understand better about relational frame theory. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.